Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to talk about the 25 books I need to read in 2025. So technically, it's more than 25 books because most of these are series. I have 15 books that are either standalones or the start of a new series. And then I have 10 series that are high priority for me to finish in 2025. I'm not going to spend too much time on each of these books because since I have 25 things to talk about, I don't want to make it extremely long. So let's get started with either standalones or first books in series. The first series I need to read, this is very high priority for me, is the Fallen Men series by Gianna Darling. The reason this is very high priority for me is because this is my most recommended book that I have not read yet. So I'll leave a video link for you where I explain my book recommendations list. Basically, anytime somebody recommends a book, it goes on, and I'm also interested in it, it goes on this recommendations form. And anytime somebody else also recommends that book or series, it gets a spot higher. And at the moment, the Fallen Men series is my most recommended series, and it has been for a while. So the goal is actually to read it this year, but I didn't get around to it. So next year, definitely high priority. I think I want to start with the second book, Welcome to the Dark Side, because I heard so many good things about that book. That is a giant age gap. And this is an MC romance. So motorcycle club romance. And I've been hearing so many good things about this series for such a long time. Next is Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Geisinger. This is the first book in the Queens and Monsters series. And this, I believe, this is the second most recommended series. And Jen over at the Book Refuge has been talking about this series for years now, and I really need to read it. This is a mafia romance series and only 4 books out so far. And this has been on my recommendations list, very high up on my recommendations list when it was still indie published. Now I believe it got picked up by a traditional publisher. But yeah, I believe this is all the Irish mafia. And like I said, I've been hearing so many good things about this series for such a long time. The Bergman Brothers by Chloe Lisa. This is a pretty long series. It has 7 books. Once again, it has been on my radar ever since it was indie published. Now it's recently been picked up by a traditional publisher. And this, you follow the Bergman family, and each of the family members gets their HEA. And I'm pretty sure every single book has either a character that is that has a disability of some sort or is neurodivergent in a way. So it's very diverse series in that sense. I've been hearing so many good things about it for such a long time. I think the second book is the one that I'm most looking forward to. A historical romance series I really want to read is the Maiden Lane series. So once again, a very long series that has been very highly recommended. But because it's so long, I've been putting it off. But I know a lot of people really love this book. Like, I've heard so many good things. Like, this is a darker historical romance, and I love a dark romance, and especially a dark historical romance. Say less. I've heard amazing things about Thief of Shadows, Darling Beast, Dearest Rogue. It has 12 books, so that is very long, and I am not that good at continuing on with these very long series. The Grip Trilogy by Kennedy Ryan, once again, a series that has been recommended over and over again, and so far I've only read one Kennedy Ryan, and it was leaning more towards women's fiction than an actual romance, and I know the Grip Trilogy definitely very much is a solid romance. And you follow Grip and Bristol, and basically these 2 books plus a novella is their entire romance. And you follow a rapper and his manager, I'm pretty sure. And this is a romance with a black guy and a white girl and them navigating their lives. And like I said, this has been highly recommended and has been on my radar for such a long time. I'm going to keep repeating myself. I'm going to stop with that. Corrupt by Penelope Douglas, once again, a series that a lot of people have been recommending for such a long time. This book came out in 2015. I'm pretty sure it has been on my radar ever since then. But this is a dark romance. It's one of the staple ones that I still have not read yet. Kill Switch is the one I'm most looking forward to because it's Winter and Damon's story, and Damon, I'm pretty sure, is the villain in the first 2 books. But Corrupt also sounds very good to me. So Corrupt, you follow Erica and Michael, and Erica is the reason that Michael's friends have been sent to prison, and now he is on a mission to destroy her life, but obviously they're gonna fall in love. I think I've only read one Penelope Douglas, and it was Birthday Girl. It was not my favorite because since I've heard so many good things about it, I just assumed that book was gonna be smuttier and dirtier than it was. So I think Corrupt is going to give me what I was looking forward to in Birthday Girl. Blindside by Candy Steiner. So really I want to read this entire series, but I recently got Blindside. So I think I'm going to start with this one. This is a fake dating romance, and this is a series following different American football players, because the first one, actually, both characters are on the football team, so both the guy and the girl, and that is such an interesting premise that I have never read. It's 5 books, and I've heard great things about each and every one of them, but obviously Blindside is the most popular of them all. Hopefully I can get around to this series in 2025. Another one that I already have a vlog where I want to read this book is A Heart of Blood and Ashes. This one is one of the staples in the fantasy romance genre. Like before romantasy became a thing, this one was really popular for girls who loved both fantasy and romance. Like I said, there is already a video I want to read this for, I think in January, so very much looking forward to this one. And I've heard the grovel in this book is exquisite, so I cannot wait. And this is also a hate to love, which I love a good fantasy romance where there's a good hate to love. The Spindle Cove series by Tessa Dare. So I really want to read all of Tessa Dare's backlist. And this is one of the last series I need to start. So basically this series, you follow a town called Spindle Cove where basically women rule this town. And they basically live there without any men, but of course in each and every book there's going to be a man showing up that wants something from them. And the last book, Do You Want to Start a Scandal, I'm pretty sure this one is directly connected to one of her other series that I've already started. So I think, yeah, I'm going to talk about that series next, but I want to start this series when I finish the other one, basically. Hooked by Emily McIntyre, once again, a book that I have owned for a while now, ever since it came out. In fact, I think I owned the indie published version, and now this series has been being published as a traditional published romance for a while now. This is a series following different Disney villains getting their HEA. For some reason, I just love that premise. And the first book, you follow Captain Hook and Wendy. And Wendy's father is actually Peter Pan. Yeah. The 6th one actually recently came out, so I'm very behind on this series, but I really want to read it. So hopefully 2025 is going to be the year I will. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This obviously was very, very popular in 2022. And then the prequel came out recently too. Or no, I think it was, I don't know, was it 2022? Maybe 2023? I don't know. This book has been popular for a while. It's a cozy fantasy following an orc wanting to start her own coffee, like her own cafe, and it sounds so cozy and cute and adorable, and pretty much everybody that has read this book has fallen in love with it, so I think I will too. Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver is one of my favorite authors of all time, and actually got the indie covers with the people on them. I just prefer those covers over the new traditional published covers. So I really want to read every single book this woman has ever written. Technically, I still need to read the 2nd book in the Rose Hill series, but other than that, I still need to read her first published series. So I'm going to make it a priority to do that in 2025. The Royal Elite series by Rena Kent. So I read the Legacy of God series by her, and my goal was to go back and read every single book she's written in the Renaverse. So I really want to start at the beginning. So that means I have to start with Deviant King and read the entire Royal Elite series. I don't know if I can actually finish her entire backlist in 2025, but I for sure at least want to read her first series. Basically, this series follows the parents of some of the characters in the Legacy of Gods, and the first book is Aiden and Elsa's book. So I cannot wait. This is a bully romance, and I haven't read those in a while, so hopefully this will be good. Archer's Voice by Nia Sheridan. Once again, there is a vlog I want to read this book for. The plan was actually to film that vlog last year, but I didn't have the time because of my reading slump. Archer's Voice is a book that has been popular for such a long time, and this was actually published a decade ago. I think this has been on my radar for at least 8 years, so it's about time I read this. I know this is a lot of people's favorite romances of all time. You follow a speechless hero. It seems like everybody that has read this book loves it, so I think I will too. And the last book that is This one is a standalone, actually, is Intrigue Me by Grace Draven. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I've been just meaning to read this book for such a long time. People that I trust really love this book. And this is, like I said, a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but with a twist. Basically, our main character, her sister actually has like the Beauty and the Beast story. So she wants to go to this castle to marry the guy she loves, but our main character, who was married in the past, doesn't want her to go alone, so she goes with her, and she falls in love with the father of her sister's boyfriend. And I've read one Grace Draven before, and I liked it, but it was not my favorite. I do think this is going to be my favorite Grace Draven. It sounds amazing, and I really want to read it. Now for the series I need to finish. The first is the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle L. Jensen. I'm behind on this series. So I read the first duology, so the first 2 books, following Aaron and Laura. And the plan was to continue on, but I never did. And then the plan was to reread the first 2 books and then continue on. And I only reread the first book. So in 2025, maybe I'll reread The Traitor Queen in December, so that the beginning of 2025, I'll be caught up with my reread, so I can read the 3rd and 4th book, which follow a different couple. And then she still needs to release the 3rd duology in the series. Maybe she'll do that in 2025, I'm not sure. I get kind of confused with her releases since she's writing so many series. Next is the Tessa Dare series. I already talked about it. It's The Castles Ever After. So basically the last book in The Castles Ever After is the same book that is the last book in the Spindle Cove series. So I think what I want to do is read so I only read the first book in the Castles Ever After series. I think I want to read the 2nd and 3rd book, then start the Spindle Cove series, and then finally read the final book, I think. If you know of a better way to read both those series, let me know. But basically, this series follows 4 heroines who each get a castle that they inherit. It's going to be their romance. The first book I really, really loved. I don't know why I didn't continue on, but it's a historical romance Beauty and the Beast retelling. And that is kind of like one of my favorite sub-genre microtrope. I love a good historical romance Beauty and the Beast retelling. And actually the other one Tessa Dare did was one of my favorite books of all time, which is The Duchess Deal. And I really love Romancing the Duke too. The Losers Duet by Harley LaRue. So I only read the prequel novella. When I read The Dare, which is the prequel novella, the Losers were not published yet. And the plan was actually to read them when they were published, but I just never did. So I really want to do that because the novella is one of my favorite novellas of all time. And Harley LaRue is one of my favorite authors, so I really need to read her Losers Duet. This is Why Choose Romance with a girl and 4 guys, but the 4 guys are also in like 2 couples, basically. So I have read snippets of this series, and like I said, the novella was amazing all on its own. Then I want to continue on and hopefully finish the Pucked series. So Pucked was one of my favorite books I read this year, and I just never continued on. There are like 6 books in the series, and it's kind of daunting, even though it shouldn't be, but you basically follow different members of this hockey team getting their HEA. Although I do know that the first couple gets another book, which I just love that. I love Alex and Violet. Yeah. I just need to continue on with this series. And I love Helena Hunting's writing style. So I really want to read pretty much her entire backlist, but that is going to be a feat and a half considering she's published so many books. Then I want to continue on with the Salacious Players Club. So I read Praise at the beginning of this year and I liked it. I actually read it in the same vlog I read Pucked in. So I liked it, but it was not my favorite. But I do have a feeling other books in the series are going to be my favorite. I have high hopes for Give Me More and Mercy. So I just need to continue on. And like I said, I don't know what's stopping me. I think it's also because it's 6 books. I don't know. It just feels kind of daunting. Like a trilogy is just easier for me to finish, obviously, than if I need to read like 5 other books. Then I really want to finish the Dreamland Billionaire series. I honestly don't know why I haven't yet. The goal was to do that this year since I read the 3rd book in the Goodreads Choice Awards video I did in 2023. It's only a trilogy, but they are pretty big. So I need to just buckle down and read them. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you already know what the Dreamland Billionaire series is about. Then I really want to finish the Nashville Neighborhood series. Once again, the plan was to do that this year, but I didn't get around to it. I did read The Doctor. So basically last year I read The Frat Boy. It was one of my favorite books I read last year. And then this year I started with The Doctor, and the plan was to continue on until I finished. Now what I'm going to do is, so The Broker comes out in January. So I really want to read The Good Girl before that one comes out, then read The Broker, and then go back and read The Architect and The Pool Boy. The Boys of Toman series by Chloe Walsh. So basically I read Binding and Keeping 13 in the beginning of this year for a vlog I did. And if this was not so sad, I would have probably continued on, but I just know, especially the third and fourth book, are gonna break my heart, because Joey already broke my heart and I haven't even gotten his romance yet or his point of view. So I think I've just been procrastinating on this series because I don't want my heart broken, since my heart was already broken because of Binding and Keeping 13. And I know in my heart that Saving and Redeeming 6 are gonna be even more heartbreaking. So, but I need to bite the bullet, because I do think Joey's story, like I do think Saving and Redeeming 6 are gonna be my favorite books in the year I'm gonna read them in. So I just need to continue on and just brace myself for impact. Then I want to finally finish Dance of Thieves. So basically I read The Remnant Chronicles when they came out, and then I actually read Dance of Thieves when it came out. And then when Vow of Thieves came out, I just never read that book. So it has been sitting on my shelf collecting dust ever since it came out, which was in 2019. And actually I started rereading The Remnant Chronicles this year, but I haven't finished my reread yet. So I think my plan is to finish The Beauty of Darkness, so finish my reread for The Remnant Chronicles this year, and then reread Dance of Thieves, and then finally read Vow of Thieves in the beginning of next year. Last but most certainly not least is a goal that I had this year, but I never did anything with it, is to finally finish The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. I just really wanna at least finish that series and then hopefully continue on with The Shadowhunters world. Basically, I've been reading The Mortal Instruments ever since 2013. And I read the first 3 books, then I actually read and loved The Infernal Devices, and I never continued on and finished The Mortal Instruments. The plan this year was actually to read them in publication order, but skip the first 3 because I reread those 3 twice so I could continue on, and I never did. So I think my plan is reread Clockwork Angel and then read City of Fallen Angels, reread Clockwork Prince, then read City of Lost Souls, then reread Clockwork Princess, and then finally finish off with City of Heavenly Fire. Hopefully I can do that in 2025. So this was my 2025 TBR. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts were. Also, what are some high priority books or series that you want to get to in 2025? Leave all your thoughts in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.